If it's first, you ain't the break, smoke, get you know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, two games after this win. Press you again, we're for the first May. Carry my team down 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
Hey, it's us against the world, fellas. Yeah. It's us against the world, fellas. Don't nobody believe in us. Yeah. Don't nobody believe in us. We don't need nobody to believe in us. I don't believe in you. I believe in you. I know you a dog. I know you a dog. I know we some dogs, man. Hey, all this preparation we put in, all this been talking about, hey, it's time to go release pain, man. It's time to go put in real. Let's go. Tennessee on 2, 1, 2, Tennessee. Ball, Tennessee, ready. Ball, Tennessee, ready. Ball, Tennessee, ready.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talkin VAWLS and my guy Boogie Bentley runs, so shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Good Friday morning and welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. He is Coach Jay. Coach, we're one sleep away. 8 years of misery. We got to get the monkey off of our back. If we talk about Josh Heupel and Kirby Smart, you'd be lying if you said that Kirby Smart hasn't owned Josh Heupel. It is what it is, but we're one sleep away. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling fired up. I'm ready to go. How we feeling on this Friday morning, Coach Jay?
I feel good. It's a beautiful morning up here in Puget Sound. Getting ready for a ball game that I unfortunately won't be able to take part in due to odd California rules, but we'll get into that another time. I feel good, Boogie. I'm ready to go. I feel good about this game. I think a lot of us Vol fans feel like, if not now, when? Like, we feel like the time is right. It feels like beating the crap out of some grown men who bark like freaking idiot dogs and giving them a nice thick slice of humble pie and let Retro know that not only can he not run a really, really fast 40 time anymore, that he finally could not beat the Tennessee Volunteers.
A little inside baseball to a Tuesday night stream, and Retro's out. Man, I've seen you, Retro. I know what you look like. You ain't running no sub 540. What do you run, like a 6.5? Said he was going to run, but sub 5? Like, what are we talking about here? Hey, we got to take care of a little bit of a business. You guys know around here, I don't do this. I'm not an advertising guy, so much so that our live streams, if it's an hour and a half, 2-hour live stream, I don't put ads in the middle of it because I just don't like that. That's just not who we are. But the Talkin VAWLS morning show this season is going to be brought to you by Grade A Grounds Coffee. You can go to gradeagrounds.com, use the promo code VAWLS, VAWLS. You're going to get 20% off of your first purchase. So you may be saying, Boogie, you don't do advertising, but you're doing an ad read. What are you doing? Here's what happened, man. Me and Dauber played in a golf tournament a few weeks ago. The owner, East Tennessee guy, local guy, University of Tennessee alum. He bleeds orange. He loves the Vols, but he also just so happens to put out a dang good coffee. And, we were just talking, and it was authentic, and it was organic. And he's like, Dauber's kind of told me about Talkin VAWLS and what you guys do. That's really cool. That was it. Later that afternoon, my phone rings. He goes, oh, by the way, I checked out the show, saw your interview with Don Bailey. You guys are great. You guys want to go into business together, but it's only because he's an East Tennessee guy. He's a Tennessee guy. He played golf with a Tennessee Power Tee on his hat, shirt, the whole 9 yards. And like they kept selling me on this blueberry flavor. That's what I'm drinking today. I told Coach Jay before we went live, tastes like a blueberry donut in a coffee cup. So again, local guy, East Tennessee guy. They also do fundraisers. If you're a parent, a coach, a teacher, you can find more information about that on their website. They will kick back 40% of their sales to your classroom or your ball team. So again, gradeagrounds.com. Use that promo code VAWLS. We would greatly appreciate it. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Then we're going to get Hubs on here. William Miller. Is this who I think it is? Is this Grade A Grounds himself? It could be. But he becomes a member of the channel. Shout out William Miller. We appreciate you. Jordan Heron for 5. Coach Jay, I'm back for another parlay. I still have faith. We'll get into the gambling segment on the back half. Billy Todd is here for 2. Almost game day. Let's go. FUGA. Isaac Owens for 5. Good morning, y'all. I'm already fired up for tomorrow in this beautiful Friday morning. GBO. Eric Jones has been a member for 52 months. If you're not a member, fix it. Hit that join button down below. Only $1. Eric says, what's up, Boogie, Coach Jay, Foul Ming, and Talkin VAWLS fam. Todd Landers for 2. Dorothy, good morning. Vol fam, shout out Todd. We appreciate you. Donovan for 2. Yes or no, Hubs, do we hold Georgia under 21 points? We'll ask Hubs that coming up in just a second. Dave Morrison for 2. Under the weather, but I couldn't miss the show. Well, we appreciate you, Dave, giving that effort. Ron the Don for 5. Dorothy, we shall see which dog breed is better this weekend. Let's go. Friday morning show with Boogie and Coach Jay. Trevor Vosters becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Trevor. John Cobb drops a 20 spot. That's an Orange Boy. We got to do it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
John says it is great to be a Tennessee Vol. That it is, and I hope we are singing that loud and proud tomorrow evening. Black Metal Banjo for 20. We'll do it again.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Banjo says TGIF, FUGA, GBO, a man, a few words, but a lot of letters. Shout out Black Metal Banjo. We appreciate you. Let's get Hubs on here. Let's see if he is full of coffee like we are. Brent Hubs, welcome back, man.
Hey, how we doing, guys? Happy Friday and happy Georgia Eve. Let's get this thing started and go line up and play and see what happens on Saturday. This is what college football is supposed to be about. It is what it's about. No offense to ETSU. That was not even an appetizer last week. This is the real deal this week. So, this one should be a lot of fun tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. And it's kind of an interesting matchup when you look at it from both sides because, we really don't know. How good is Tennessee? We really don't know right now. But guess what? We also don't really know how good Georgia is. So we're going off of history. We're going off of track records. It's just an interesting matchup. And I'll ask you, we kind of talked about this before the Syracuse game when you came on the show. I said there's so many question marks around this team. Give me something you like about this team. Now you've had 2 games, and I get it. We don't have to talk about it being Syracuse and ETSU, but 2 games in, anything you're surprised about? What do you like about this 2025 football team?
I like the fact that the quarterback's 24 years of age, and it shows on the field. I think his poise shows, and he's going to have to be poised tomorrow. They're going to come in different directions. He's going to have to read the field well. I think he has seen the field well through 2 games. I think that's important. How many throws do you think back to Joey Aguilar the last 2 games and you go, ooh, no, probably shouldn't have thrown that one. There's not been those. And I think that's an encouraging sign for a guy who so much of the talk about him in the offseason was, he throws a lot of picks and, this, that, and the other. He's not put the ball in harm's way. Now, he's going to get tested like he hasn't been tested. We all know that. But can he continue to play with the poise he's played with? I love the start that Joey Aguilar has gotten off to. He has been better than I anticipated him being out of the gates. He's going to have to be good, obviously on Saturday for Tennessee. So that's one. I think the offensive line and what they've shown through 2 games. Now, that one's a little bit of because a year ago we thought Tennessee was going to win the line of scrimmage in this game, and they really didn't. That's still a little bit more of a prove it to me, but I think those guys have played well to this point, and I love the way the corners have played. I love the way Ty Redmond's played. I love the way that Colton Hood has played. You certainly missed Ricky Gibson. You certainly missed Jermod McCoy, but that's not my concern in this matchup when Georgia's on the field offensively. It's about Georgia attacking the middle of the field. How does Tennessee's safeties hold up? How do they handle the tight end and stuff between the numbers? I like what Tennessee's done on the corner so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to bring that up, Brent. Love me some VolQuest, reading, listening, everything. I had like multiple. I was traveling late last night, but I had multiple Tennessee people texting me, "Oh man, Gibson's going to be gone the whole season." I read this and that on VolQuest. McCoy not going to be back till obviously later, if at all. I mean, they've looked good, like you mentioned. ETSU, Syracuse, about to get a real test today. Just being closer to the team like you are, do you get a true sense that they really are that confident, in a true freshman? I mean, I know they like him. I know he can play. I know they have great faith that he'll become that. But do you think they're giving him that bill like they truly believe he's ready, that he can play that one-on-one on the side? Or do you think they're going to try to give him a little help? Or maybe a mixture of both?
I mean, you have to mix it up back there, but I do think they have confidence in him. I think the question is going to be, do they travel the corners based on matchups? Do they feel like they've got to put Hood on somebody? They did that a little bit with McCoy last year. They really have. I mean, Willie Martinez has never really flipped his corners based on matchup. They've kind of stayed there. But what they would do last year was pretty interesting. They wouldn't flip early, but as the game kind of went on, they started flipping their corners, basically thinking the quarterback wasn't paying any attention. And so you go back to that Alabama game, Jermod McCoy's not supposed to be on the side where he makes the interception. That's a flip play, and the quarterback, Milroe, didn't recognize it because Alabama, and I've talked to some people in the offseason, that whole play, Alabama said, hey, we're going to throw this pass as long as it's not against McCoy. Throw it against the other corner. Don't throw at Jermod McCoy in this situation in the red zone. And Milroe just assumed that he wasn't over there, and he threw it, and we all know what McCoy did with it. So the question to me becomes in this game, do they feel comfortable enough with Redmond that they want to line up and leave him where he's at, and they don't care who it's matched up again? Or do they feel like they need to flip their corners a little bit? Do they want to leave Redmond on their sideline so Willie Martinez can coach him pre-snap? Because you can hear when you're in that distance that way. Some stuff like that, we'll keep an eye on Saturday. But, yeah, they've got a ton of confidence in Ty Redmond, and he's played extremely well. If for some reason he struggles or they don't like kind of his sort of mental makeup and where he's at, they can roll Jalen McMurray down the corner and play Boo Carter at the star position, which I think you'll see a little bit of that anyway. But that's kind of the backup plan, if you will. They just can't get anybody else hurt at the corner spot for the rest of the year is where Tennessee's at right now.
Yeah, I think I was questioning when Kaner was on Boogie's show how they felt about that McMurray at star with Zachariah Branch, being an absolute problem, if you will. That remember the Titans quote, I just can't guard him, coach. I can't stick with him. He's faster than me or whatever. Do we see a little more Boo Carter and maybe slide McMurray out's a really good question. And, the tight ends have been a problem as well for Tennessee in the past. How do you think the linebacker is going to match up this weekend? Obviously, Georgia hasn't thrown the tight end yet this year, really. We're obviously going to see that come Saturday.
Well, that's my match. That's my key to this matchup. When everybody says, "What are you looking for? What's important?" I think it's the middle of the football field. That Tennessee's got to win inside the numbers. And what I mean by that is defensively, they've got to win in between the numbers. A season ago, Carson Beck threw for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns between the numbers. They went right at Tennessee's safeties. They went right at Tennessee's linebackers. I think that's where you worry about what Tennessee can do, and not so much the corners. It's how do they play in the box? How do they play inside the numbers on defense? Throw in the run game there, because I don't know if Jackson Moy is going to go. I think he's going to try, but we'll see how effective he is. You don't have Hobbs. So can you hold up against the run? And they're going to attack you down the middle of the field and go at the safeties. So is Turntine better this year than he was a year ago in this matchup? And Farouk's got to go fast. Like, he's got to grow up in a hurry in this one. I mean, he's got to be he has got to take a real step this week. And then on the flip side of that, offensively, I think it's how are you guard center guard? And that doesn't mean I think that Jesse Perry is just rock solid, solidified, everything's anchored on the right side, or Lance Hurd's anchored on the left. But I think Georgia's coming in the interior. I think they're bringing those inside backers. Here's the thing about Georgia. They got 3 sacks on the season. Well, I know they've been vanilla. They haven't blitzed a whole lot. But they've only got 3 sacks against their 2 opponents, which tells me they haven't been elite off the edge. Like, they don't have the guy that you just go, wow, he's just unbelievable off the edge. So I think they're going to have to bring some pressure from different places. Well, where's it going to come from? Traditionally, it comes in the middle of the field. So how does Sam Pendleton communicate? How does he hold up? How does Sham Umaroff hold up in there if David Sanders is not playing? How do they hold up with Wendell Moy in there with the exotic looks and different things that Georgia's going to try to bring in the A-gap? Middle of the football field, to me, determines the winner of this football game. If Tennessee can hold their own in the middle defensively, then they've got a great shot to win this game. And if Tennessee can hold their own in the middle offensively, they've got a great shot to win this football game. If they're drowning or fighting to keep their head above water in those 2 areas, I think it could be a long day for Tennessee.
Let me catch up with the chat real quick. We appreciate you guys tuning in on this Friday morning. We're getting geared up, ready to go for Tennessee, Georgia, coming up tomorrow, 3:30. Checker, Neyland, college game day. The atmosphere, like Hub said, it's everything we want in college football. Tim Armstrong for 2 says, Dorothy, what's up, fellas? Let's beat that dog. Donovan Milligan for 5. Milliken for 5. When the box is light, can we run? Because we can't. Going to be a long day. Third downs. Need the boo effect in this game. Yeah, I think Boo's going to be a big factor. We saw, obviously, the return game, how much he can flip the field, but also, like Coach and Hubs were talking about here, you're going to need him to go out there and play some defense on Saturday as well. Tennessee Tonto's been a member for 35 months. We appreciate you, my man. Brad drops a 50. We got to do it, but Hubs approved. Hubs approved of this clip, so we'll play it.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Shout out, Brad. We appreciate you, my man. He says, GBO, can't wait to have no voice left after the game. Welcome back, Hubs, to the craziness. Yes, we bring everybody that's legit, everybody that's an insider, everybody that's in the know. We bring them on here, and we drag them through the mud. That's what we do. Tennessee Tonto for 10 says, Coach Jay, get the 99.1 Sports Animal app so you can listen to the game. They do a wonderful job. Shout out.
I will have to do it.
Let's come back and talk about the head ball coach again. 8 straight losses. Josh Heupel's been here 4 straight losses. Kirby Smart, you got to call a spade. Has pretty much owned Josh Heupel. It's not looked like Josh Heupel football every time you go up against Georgia. You've yet to break 17 points. You're averaging 13 points per game. I think this is a big matchup, and I loved the War Room over at VolQuest. That's where you get all the news you want every Friday morning. Some people wait up till midnight on Thursday so they can get that news. That's what you want. Go to VolQuest.com, get a membership. It is worth it. If the War Room goes well, Hubs, it's everybody. It's a collective effort. If it goes bad, it's on you. I'll give you credit for this one. You talked about Josh Heupel. You talked about big game environments, how he thrives on it. I think that's his competitive nature from going back to his college days. Where's the ball coach at right now, and how much do you think this team feeds on him and kind of having that chip on their shoulder, the underdog mentality? Where's this football team at going into the Georgia game?
I think he loves this team. And I think this team does have that chip on their shoulder and an underdog. And I think Tennessee's typically at their best when that's the case. A lot of people are doubting them in this game. And I think they like that. On the flip side, we know Kirby could be a 7-touchdown favorite. And for some reason, he's got his team convinced that they're going to lose, that everybody says they're going to lose, which has never been the case. But, he does a great job motivating his team that way. I think Josh likes these games much better than last week. I do think that's the competitiveness in him. Tennessee's got to go out and execute it. And 22, that Georgia team was elite in 22. Tennessee wasn't ready for that moment. The head coach was ready, and he tried to get his team ready, but Tennessee wasn't ready for what they walked into down there. And it was very obvious from the get-go. I think even though there's new players involved and a lot of new players on offense involved, I think collectively as a team, they learned a lot about themselves last year in this game. They jump out to a 10-0 lead. They had moments where they were physical. They self-inflicted wound in a couple of places when you think about it. I mean, they got Carson Beck on the ropes late in the first quarter, jump off sides. They give up a 3rd and 8 that was for 28 to Dominic Lovett. All of a sudden, Beck's hot. You go back to the opening. I think it's the opening drive of the second half for Georgia. They're backed up. They got 2nd and 24, and Tennessee lets them off the hook. You got a penalty, questionable call, but you got a penalty call against Ricky Gibson. All of a sudden, they're let off the hook. They score, and you're playing catch up for the rest of the game. So there's some things, if you look at it, you're Tennessee, say, hey, man, we're right there. You just got to eliminate the mistakes that we can control. So you should take some confidence from that. I think this team's got some confidence. I think that it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun environment. I think the question is who settles in. Can they make Gunnar Stockton uncomfortable? But to answer your question, I think Josh Heupel likes his team. I think they like their plan. And I think that, you got to go out and execute it. The plan could be great, but if you don't execute it, it doesn't work. Kirby Smart's done as good a job as anybody, probably better than anybody, at figuring out how he wants to attack this offense, with his defense, and they've done a good job. You go back to 21, Tennessee throws for over 300 yards. They got people running open. They missed some throws. They had Bayless Jones early. Cedric Tillman had a big day in that game. And then you look at what happened in 22, 23, and 24, and boy, you thought going into 22, hey, they had the guys open everywhere. This is the best offense ever had. There's going to be people running wide open, and that's not been the case. So Tennessee's got to have some answers to what Kirby Smart has done. I wonder if that lies a little bit in 12 personnel. I wonder if that lies a little bit in the 2 tight ends. That was a great thing to start that game. Maybe Tennessee got out of it a little quick, Coach. I don't know. But I wonder if they live in some more 2 tight end sets, if they think that can help balance Georgia's defense out. Because here's what you're going to do. And I know I'm rambling, Boogie. I'm sorry. But you got 3 receivers and a tight end. Georgia's not going to lighten the box. You're not going to win the numbers count when you go into that set. So do you help yourself by bringing in an extra tight end because the field's already balanced more for you? That way you got numbers to combat their numbers in the box. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree 1,000% with that. I would try to help my numbers there. And it, like you mentioned, it felt like when Tennessee was more physical, it was just a fact, we were playing much better, and it's almost like it petered out. And I do think that formation could help that quite a bit, just setting that tone on the offensive end. But I thought I'd pick a little more at Boogie's coaching question that he just had for a second. We had Kyler Kerbyson on here the other day, and I know he kind of dropped Boogie's jaw a little bit when he said he didn't feel like Georgia was a monkey on Coach Heupel's back, that, he felt like Florida more was in the swamp. I want to get your take and feeling on that. Does it, every now and then when a team's always bested you, the pressure can start to build. Do you get the sense that that's starting to be the case, or what's your kind of take on how the team feels about that?
No, I don't think it's there like it was with Coach Majors in Alabama, or like it was with Phillip and Spurrier, or like it is with Tennessee in the swamp right now. And here's my reason why. Georgia's been better. They've been better. They're better than 21. Those 2 teams could have played 10 times. Georgia's going to win all 10 of them.
Yep.
Georgia was better than 22, even though Tennessee was great offensively, numbers-wise, and we know what they did all season long. That defense at Georgia in 22 was stupid good. I mean, I think 5 of them are starting for the Eagles right now, right? I mean, like, they were just ridiculously good. So Georgia's been better. Now, the question is, did you close the gap last year? Do you feel like you closed the gap? Did you learn how to play them? Did you, or have you evolved into being able to sort of match up with them a little bit better than you did those first couple of years? We're getting ready to find out. the one thing I will say that could add some pressure, and I don't think Josh Heupel feels this because I don't think he's built that way. This is a better year to get them than you've had in previous years.
Mhm.
They're going through a transition with a new quarterback. It's early in the season. They aren't really established yet. You got them at home. Next year you're going to go down there. If they're on the schedule next year, they may not even be on the schedule next year, depending on what the SEC does. But if you do play them, you're going to go down there, you think, and you're going to be doing it with a first-time starting quarterback. So you're going to have your gunner Stockton next year going down there and playing, and that's a hard environment to play in. So this is I won't say this is the year. Oh, if you don't get them now, you're never going to get them. I don't think that's accurate. But this one feels like the setup gives Tennessee a better chance than they've had in previous years, given where the program is and the fact that it's in Knoxville and you've played the way you have for 2 games, and Georgia's been who they've been for 2 games. And I think both teams are still trying to figure out each other and figure themselves out.
Do you think, like, talking about that Georgia team in 22 and how good they were and how dominant they were, look at what Nick Saban did and just being a dynasty in college football. And I know a lot of people don't like NIL. They don't like the transfer portal. But I think it's truly bringing us parity in college football. I think we're seeing more even matchups. And I don't want to get to where we're like NFL junior and like teams are going 8-4 and making the play. Like, I don't want that. But I think we are seeing, like, now more than ever, I feel like I've got to watch every single game on Saturday because we do truly have parity in college football.
No doubt. I mean, look, all of a sudden now the 7:45 game, Vanderbilt and South Carolina, is a game of intrigue because of Diego Pavia and what Clark Lee has done there. You feel like they've got money too, right? They're in the rev share game. They've got some money they're spending. So everybody's got a little bit they're spending. And yeah, I mean, I think it does create some parity. Now, here's what you know. When you have parity, it gets back. Your game day coaching matters. Your leadership matters. All of those things factor in. You got to spend your money in the right place. And all those things have to fall in alignment for you, maybe more than they once did. Where, you think back to, and I'll just use Tennessee's glory days. Okay. You think back to when they were 45-5, you drove over to South Carolina and you weren't worried about anything. You weren't worried about losing that game. It never even crossed your mind. You were playing 1 game a year, basically, maybe 2, right? Okay. If Georgia was there, although you had Georgia's number, but it was a 3-game season, but the 1 game was Florida. That's not where college football is right now. And I think that's great. I mean, I like it to the fact that anything can happen. It's not it's not that it's okay. They're going to win by 70 or in league play. You're just not going to have. I think that's where the Big Ten struggles a little bit, right? Like how many games are going to be competitive in some of the Big Ten stuff? I mean, and it's not just NIL. It's the challenge of getting kids ready to play every week. Look at what happened at Florida last week. Look, Florida's got more money spent. Florida's got more talent. They got a better roster. They got everything. Well, how in the world are you not ready to play that game? Well, you're going to LSU this week, and you got all this coming down the line. I had a coach tell me this several years ago. The hardest challenge in the world, and I think that challenge has gotten harder because of the money involved, Boogie. The hardest challenge is getting kids to play at a peak level 12 straight times or 12 times. That's the hardest challenge. It's human nature. Florida couldn't do it a week ago. You get bit, regardless of your budget. But when it's level, you got money spent and there's parity, you got to be on an edge. Kirby's done a hell of a job getting his guys on an edge every week. Is it fabricated in a lot of cases? Absolutely it is. But he has done a great job having his kids ready to play each and every week, which is one of the hardest things to do in sports.
That's one of the things I hate about coming off of their game against Austin Peay. Like everybody's going, oh, Georgia's not great. I'm like, this is not a recipe for success for us. He is going to have them ready to go tomorrow. Let me catch back up with you guys in the chat. We've got over 300 people watching on this Friday morning edition of Talkin Vols. Go check out VolQuest as well. We got Brent Hubs in the house today. We got Stephen Parf, too, says Dorfy, dogfight with UT on top. Man, our chat, our audience has been high on Tennessee all week. Marcus Rush for 5. Dorfy, our defense needs to make a statement this game. GBFO. Drunken Vol has been a member for 23 months. We appreciate you. Says FUGA. Laura Clayton becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Laura. We appreciate you. Thank you for the support. If you're not a member, it's $1. Hit the join button right down there beside subscribe. If you're on an inferior phone product like an iPhone, I would advise you to put it in the trash and then go to the description below, and there will be a link where you can join the channel. iPhone will not allow you to do it from the app because they are inferior. And all I can tell you is put it in the trash. John Cobb for 2 says, I feel like he is going to coach the game mad. We'll see. J Matt for 5, first super chat ever. Well, shout out J Matt. We appreciate you. Usually a lurker, but this is FUGA week. I want to beat these fools so damn bad. The streak ends tomorrow. Go Vols. Shout out J Matt. We appreciate you. I know you kind of talked about Hubs, the middle of the field being important to you. What else do you see as the keys to the game? Because man, I look at this and I'm like, you got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to run the football. We know Josh Heupel, if he runs for over 200 yards, 30-2 at Tennessee. And I'm like, what's the magic number? And I talked about this with Kaner early in the week. I'm like, is the magic number 150? Is the magic number 200? Is it about defense? You mentioned, Georgia's defensive line only has 2 sacks on the season, and that's not even their defensive line. That's coming from the linebacker position. Their offensive line hasn't given up a sack. Tennessee's offensive line hasn't given up a sack. Who can protect their quarterback? Gunnar Stockton, first SEC road start. Is he ready? Kind of break down some more of your keys to the game. Tennessee's going to come out with a win.
Well, I think you have to win in the line of scrimmage, and that's a given every week. So that's not some great revelation, right? Like, oh, well, you got to be able to win up front. Well, of course you do. I mean, you can't win in college football or any level of football if you're not winning in the line of scrimmage. I think it's, can Tennessee create an explosive play or two, and can they limit explosive plays? I mean, nobody talks about this. A year ago, Georgia had 6 completions of 20 yards or more. They big played Tennessee big time. Tennessee's got to avoid that, okay? 3rd and 8, get off the field. I mean, Georgia's converting 56% of their third downs the last 4 years combined against Tim Banks' defense. So when you got 3rd down, you got to get off the field. There's another stat for you to keep in the back of your mind. So when the opportunity is there to get off the field, you've got to get off the field. Here's another one that's crazy. Tennessee's given up points at the end of the first half in the final 2 minutes in every Georgia game since Heupel's been here. You got to get to the locker room with some momentum. Can't give Georgia something late at the end of the first half. Josh Heupel always talks about winning the middle 8. Tennessee's not won the middle 8 on the front end. They've lost it at the end of the first half. So you got to find ways to get into the locker room, get through the first 30 minutes. I mean, there's a lot of different elements out there that I think are important. You can't turn it over. Tennessee's had some costly turnovers. Everybody talks about hot starts, and Tennessee scored a touchdown on their opening possession in every game of the Josh Heupel era against Georgia. So you feel like you're going to get out to a quick start. It's can you sustain it? A year ago, it was 10-0. They couldn't sustain it. Can Tennessee sustain offensive success in this game is another key there. So there's 4 or 5 that I think are always going to be important for Tennessee in a game of this magnitude.
I'm waiting on Coach, but he's muted, and I don't know. I never know if Coach is going to talk or if he's muted. We sell a shirt, Brent, that says "You're muted," and it's got Coach J's emoji on it because he talks when he's muted.
Listen, if you've spent any time watching the VolQuest podcast, the mute button gets a couple of VolQuest staff members on more than one occasion. It does. I appreciate them muting so that something doesn't happen in the background, but when they don't unmute, you're like, really? I mean, thanks for paying attention. Thanks for listening.
No, I'm definitely guilty of hitting it. No, the pause was I wasn't sure if Boogie was doing the outro after that, but I definitely could ask a million questions to you. I guess my next one would be this. What do you expect from Tim Banks? I know a lot of Vol fans really, really love when Tim Banks dials it up, when he gets really creative and, different show and go packages with the linebackers and delayed twist and really dials it up. But it felt like, I was just talking about this with someone else, it felt like at times he did it in the Georgia game, but then he kind of just sat back after a while once the pass started getting to him. And the same could be true maybe of Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ohio State did some things that, and I think Tennessee stole a little. They stole a little bit of Ohio State stuff, right? I mean, we've seen more motion out of Tennessee's receivers in 2 games than we've seen in 3 years. And I think that was a little bit of a takeaway from the Ohio State game. When you sit there and you say, Tim, what caused you problems? Well, the motion stuff, creating the little shallow crosses and some of that stuff, was a problem. I think it's hard. And I think one of the things all the Georgia fans are talking about, well, Gunner's not driving the ball down the field. He's not throwing the ball down the field. You got to throw it. You got to throw it down the field. Well, he's hitting a bunch of check downs. Well, when's the last time people in college football were covering the back out of the backfield on a check down? Right? It feels like you're always chasing. I mean, I go back to, I don't even know what year it was. Georgia lost an SEC championship game to Alabama. And they were check down Charlie for 2.5 quarters of football. Like, it was look down the middle of the field and then dump it to the back. And Alabama could not cover it. And then Georgia, Jim Chaney just stopped throwing it. They just quit going to that play. So I think the challenge is, okay, if you're going to bring blitzes, then who's covering? Are your rotations where they need to be? I think you have to mix it up, though. I think at times last year, Tennessee probably leaned on their defensive front too much for their pass rush.
Sure.
Just hey, we're good enough up front. We're going to come get you. And I think in that Georgia game, remember Georgia a year ago gave up 5 sacks to Ole Miss, something like that. I mean, Ole Miss's defensive front dominated them up front. So you go into that game thinking, I mean, here's Tennessee. They're 12 deep on the defensive line. They got a first-round pick in James Pierce. It's a field day. Like, hey, we can play coverage in the back end because our front four is going to get home. And then they didn't get home, and then you start trying to do some blitz stuff, and then all of a sudden the middle of the field opens up, and now they had you all out of sorts. They have to make Gunner Stockton uncomfortable. How do you do that? Well, you're going to have to blitz some. You're going to have to try to confuse him some on the back end. You're going to have to run some twist up front. I mean, I think you have to be really multiple in this game if your defense can handle being multiple. I think that's always the other question. What can your defense handle? Right? In 2021, Tennessee had, I think, 3 sacks against Georgia, maybe. Yeah, 3 sacks. 2 of them came from the defensive line and 1 came from the secondary. Because Tim Banks blitzed 97% of the time because he didn't have any other options. Okay, now you feel like you got some more options. So can you handle all of that? Can you communicate in zone in the back end, which that's been a weakness for the secondary through 2 games. They've got to be better. They've given up 3rd and 10, 4th and 10. You can't give those up Saturday. So, I mean, do I think you have to bring a nickel blitz in this game at some point? Yeah. Do I think you have to bring the short corner blitz? Yeah. I mean, I think you've got to come from some different places. I don't know that you've got to be the old Joe Lee Dunn. Some people listen have no idea who Joe Lee Dunn is. He was an old defensive coordinator who blitzed all the time from a million places. He'd give up a touchdown and not even shake his head about it. And he'd come back with 12 more blitzes. So,
that's what I'm talking about. That's me playing EA
Sports. I was about to say, it sounds like your strategy.
Yeah. There you go. I think you have to be multiple, but you better be aggressive. I mean, if you sit back and let this guy get in a rhythm, I think we saw what happened last year when Carson Beck got hot. And when he got hot at the end of the first quarter, Tennessee never could get him back off rhythm.
Let me hit a couple here, then we're going to get Brent out the door. Nicholas for 2 says, holy crap, it's Brent Hubs. Hubs, you ever hear that outside Neyland Stadium? Holy crap, it's Brent.
Yeah, my wife says, holy crap. Why don't you get that done?
Wildman Woods for 2 says, Joey's mom has got it going on. 38-31 Vols. I like it. Mad Mopar Motorsports says, pray for Charlie's family. Agree with that. Thoughts, prayers going up to Charlie Kirk, man. Just a disgusting situation. People want me to talk about it on this channel. I talk football on this channel. We're an escape here. We get away from the darkness of the world and we try to focus on football and give you guys a place to get away from that darkness of the real world. But Brent, we're going to get you out the door here. What I want to ask you, look, the picks are not yet in at volquest.com, but Bob Lewis did put out his matchup piece. He gives the advantage to the Vols in special teams, defensive front 7 against the Georgia ground game, Tennessee secondary versus Georgia passing. On the flip side, he gave Georgia the edge, but he said it's razor thin defensive front 7 against the Tennessee ground game, also Tennessee's passing game versus the Georgia secondary. Sounds like Rob Lewis is expecting a defensive affair. You don't have to necessarily spoil the picks, but how do you see this thing going tomorrow afternoon?
Well, I think Tennessee's got to settle in, and I think you have to play a little bit of an ugly deal. What we know is this is not going to be 34-31. If that's the way you go into – I mean, if Tennessee scores 34 points tomorrow, I mean, Neyland Stadium's unhinged. It might slide into the river. Like, it just keeps going – it'll go crazy. So I think points are going to be at a premium. I mean, last year there was 10 possessions in this game. So you're going to have to be very effective, very efficient. And I think the question goes back to, can Tennessee effectively run it? And can they stop Georgia's run game? How does Kirby Smart play this game? He is open throwing the football 3 of the last 4 years. They tried to take a deep shot last year to open the game. Does he come out thinking, hey, I need to find my tight end and get my quarterback settled down? Am I a little bit gun shy and I want to line up and run it? And, how does he play the opening of this game? There's going to be, because this game is early in the year, Boogie, there are going to be a lot of chess matches going on because you don't really know who each other are at this point, right? It's not like a November game where there's 7 games of tape and all your tendencies are out there. What's Georgia not showed? What's Tennessee not showed? How does that play out in this first half? I think it is going to be interesting. If Tennessee's going to win, again, I think they got to win the middle of the field. I think that's the biggest test and the biggest thing for me. Can Tennessee win between the numbers, which is really atypical for Tennessee's offense, which lives outside the numbers? They've got to win offensively and defensively inside the numbers if they're going to walk out of Neyland Stadium with a victory.
All right, we appreciate it. That's Brent Hubs, VolQuest.com. If you're not a member, go check out what they do. Brent, what do you guys got going on over at VolQuest this week, getting us geared up for this Georgia game?
Tons and tons of Georgia stuff. Obviously, Tennessee has a huge recruiting weekend coming in. We've got everything about all the guys coming in. That's in the war room today, including a couple of top 50 basketball players that are going to be in town for visits. So we got all the updates for all the recruiting fans out there. We're going to get you ready with our picks. We're going to get you ready with 10 things I think. Here's a tease for you. If you've listened to me for the last 30 minutes, some of that's going to be a little repetitive to you, but we'll do that for you, and then we'll get you ready in the morning with our final 2-minute drill, final injury report, cheat sheet, and then great game coverage as well. So great time to check us out. Great time to be a part of VolQuest. It's a great supplement to your guys' show. So hopefully you come be a member of us and obviously continue to support what you guys are doing. And for all the Tennessee fans out there, I know this is a big deal. This is a big show. People appreciate what you guys do and the passion that you have, not just for Tennessee, but for college sports. So keep up the great work. Appreciate you having me on, guys.
We appreciate it, Brent. You have a good rest of your Friday. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks,
all right?
Brent.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brent. You got it.
You guys go check out VolQuest.com, the absolute best in the business. I say it on the regular on this channel. And speaking of best in the business, like, not to double down and go back to the coffee ad. I don't know if Billy's still in the chat. Billy, if you're in the chat, I'm going to need more blueberry. Typically on a Friday morning show, I get through it and I've still got a little bit of coffee in my cup. This is almost gone. It tastes like a blueberry donut in a coffee cup.
Boogie, I officially like my coffee like I like my defenses. Organized chaos, baby. Organized chaos, just what Brent Hubs wanted for this defense as well. So this stuff's pretty good, man. It's got a little chocolate to it, a little rich chocolate to it. I'm enjoying it, man. I could vibe with it.
Val, what are you drinking? You got a little organized chaos in your cup this morning?
Absolutely. What's going on, guys? Yeah. Boogie bringing the coffee this morning. Hubs bringing the juice this morning. Man, I'm ready to go.
Go ahead, Coach.
I also learned I can't do math because Boogie's like, all right, we're going to have Hubs in here for half an hour. He starts at 9:05. So 9:30 hits, and I'm like, oh, okay, no more questions. He's leaving. And
Right.
I look like an idiot in front of Brent Hubs.
That's right. Hey, guys, go to gradeagrounds.com. The link is in the description. Use the promo code VAWLS. You're going to get 20% off your first order. They're going to kick a little money back our way. East Tennessee guy, Tennessee alum, diehard VFL. He loves Tennessee football. Got to play in a golf tournament with him recently. Go check out their coffee. They are the provider of the juice, of the energy that we're going to bring to the Friday morning show and also the Monday morning show. You can also go check out our merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS, TN themed shirts. I hate the whole state of Alabama, Nike merchandise, quarter zips, golf polos. I just got this windbreaker in the mail. Quality. Man, that's a great windbreaker. I love it. I do wish it had a Nike swoosh over here. I wish they gave me that option. I don't have that option. Still good stuff. Go check it out. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Also, you can support the channel. Hit that join button. It's right down there beside subscribe. It's $1 a month. You're keeping the lights on around here. You like the content, the videos, the live streams, whatever it is. You keep the lights on. You keep this channel moving forward. Without the members, I'm going back to a 9 to 5. We're not doing the morning shows. We're going back to business as usual. But you guys support us. We appreciate you. Think about hitting that join button down below. Speaking of merchandise, I said I was going to give away a free shirt last Friday. You guys took care of business. You guys got like 50 new members on this channel gifting Talkin VAWLS memberships. So I said I was going to give away a free shirt. So the winner, I put it through the old Google randomizer. I don't know if he's still in the chat. He was here earlier. Billy Todd, VFL, you've won a free shirt. You can either contact me on Twitter, on Facebook, or you can leave a comment on this video after we go off air, and we'll connect, and I will get you a free shirt sent out. Let's talk about college game day, boys. I mentioned this briefly in my video yesterday. Fowler, are you a college game day guy? Like growing up, was that like part of your Saturday routine? Is it still like I got to wake up, I got to watch game day?
100%, 100%. It's just like Saturday morning cartoons of the kid. I translate right into college game day all through my youth, man. I've watched it every Saturday. It was always a big deal. I don't care if I'm up all night. I'm getting up, making sure I'm there by 9 a.m. when they kick off. It's just always been part of my routine. Even now, I try to catch it as quick as I can. And we went through a little drought there because you just wait for that one nugget about Tennessee, right? You just want to hear anything about Knoxville.
Yes.
And then we went through a little drought there where nobody cared but us, diehards. But now we're back. Now we're what was it? 2 years ago we hosted like 3 times, something like that, something crazy. So yeah, man, I'm excited. That always brings the juice to me. Like you get that on campus, it just adds that little extra electricity, man. Like it's a big deal to me. Like I don't know if it's just my generation or how far that goes, but yeah, having college game day on campus is a huge deal for me. I know we did the thing for when we went to the Bristol game, went to the out at the racetrack, try to hit game day. It just brings the electricity, man. It gets all the juices flowing, and I'm excited, man.
This is the best coffee I've ever drank.
It's good, man. It really is. It's good.
Dude,
I was worried.
You got to try the blueberry.
Dude,
it
really is good.
I'm telling you. I'm going to have to hit up Billy. Me and my wife are going to fight. We got 6 K-Cups for the blueberry, and I'm going to I'm going to hide them.
You've almost convinced me to switch. You almost convinced me to switch and try the blueberry. I haven't tried it yet.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I don't even have sweetener in it, and it tastes like I'm drinking a blueberry donut. I'm sorry. I just completely got derailed. Let's play this clip. Candace Parker, 2-time national champion, 2-time player of the year. I love what she says in this clip.
What's up? It's your girl, Candace Parker, proud alum of the University of Tennessee. If you cut me, I bleed orange. And that's why I'm so excited that College Game Day is coming to Knoxville as the University of Tennessee Volunteers take on the Georgia Dogs.
I think I'm in love.
What? You're looking at your College Game Day celebrity guest picker. I'm so excited to let the world in on a little secret that 100,000 screaming fans in Neyland will know on Saturday that the Tennessee Volunteers are going to shock the world and end the 10-year drought. Joshua Dobbs, 2016, threw that Hail Mary, and there's a new Josh that's going to take down the Dogs, and that's Coach Heupel. High-octane offense, solid defense. We're ready, and I'm calling it right now. So I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday.
Coach, what do you think about that? You like Candace Parker coming in being the guest picker?
I love it. I love it. Love it. Awesome work she did here when she played at Tennessee, and then came to old Coach Jay's hometown and played her pro ball. So should be really great to see her, and love game day. Watched it religiously forever. I think the first one I ever got to go to though was the 2016 Florida game, and it's awesome, man. Just being able to see all the signs. I think my favorite one from that year was there were 2 good ones that come to my mind. One of them was Jim McElwain uses 2-ply toilet paper. And the other one I remember, just because being from Los Angeles, that's not a sign you would see in Los Angeles. Someone put McElwain voted for Obama and then put ... twice.
McElwain was the coach the other night I could not think of. We were talking about the little saga with the Florida and games we shouldn't have lost and things like that. McElwain, I think, stole one in the swamp from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's I want to talk about the injury report. This is something I made a video on last night. Foul Mink put up the bat signal. I was like, seriously, man, I'm trying to sit here and do nothing. Now I got to go do a little work.
It was so casual, man. It just threw me. It just threw me. I was like, I had to go back, rewind, do the Coach J where I give it a little like rolling down the window sign. I had to go back and I'm like, did he say what I just think he said?
The funniest part was you like clue me in on it. I'm about to make a video and you're like, you may want to listen to it. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I heard it. Like you're paranoid because we're so surprised. Let's just get to the meat of this thing. We can go through the whole injury report. But Ricky Gibson out for the year. VolQuest podcast. The question comes in. It's the mailbag podcast. They ask, what percentage do you give that Jermod McCoy plays this year? What about Ricky Gibson? Brent Hubs just on the show said it's more likely you see McCoy than Gibson. All right, I can take that answer and be like, well, we don't really know. And then Austin Price says 0% chance on Gibson. Like, boom, straight out of his mouth. No
little chuckle, actually.
Yeah, like no hints.
It's such common, it's common knowledge. It's like it's not happening.
0%. Then he went on to McCoy, said 65 to 70% on McCoy. Said there's something in him. He wants to play, but you never know when agents get involved. Do things change? He has every intention to play. Could play as early as Arkansas. We'll see and take it from there. But Fowl, you clued me in on this. Ricky Gibson out for the year. Brent Hubs just said it earlier in the show. You cannot afford to lose anybody at the corner position at this point.
That's exactly where my mind went first. I go, okay, I'm confident lining up initially, but we can't give an inch on the depth chart. I mean, we just can't. And your coach brought it up earlier. You're bringing out a freshman in a big game like this, and I got all the confidence in the world in that young man. I think he's as talented as a freshman cornerback can be, but he's still a freshman cornerback. So and then you got to think that's where we got to stop, because if you drop off from there, what if you catch your cleat wrong in the grass, roll an ankle, anything? Where do you go from there? And does Georgia jump all over it? Is Georgia capable of jumping all over it? Can Gunner make those throws? We haven't seen it yet. I definitely think he's capable, but we haven't seen it yet. Can the defensive line get home? Can the defensive line get home and save some of these corners a little bit? Can we not have them covering 50 yards every play? Can we get home quick and make their job a little easier? I'm not getting off topic here. I'm just saying, can we assist those guys? Can we make their life easier and kind of protect what depth we have? Because I'm confident in Hood. I'm confident in Ty Redmond, but I'm worried. I'm a little worried that we're early. We're early. This is a big test. It's going to be a physical game, and we got a lot of season left to go.
Well, let me add more worry to that, Coach, because Fowl saying we got to get home. Defensive line, can the defensive line bail out our corners, because our corners are banged up and we're down our two starting corners? That's why we need. And you look at this injury report. Jackson Moy questionable, Tyree Weathersby questionable, and I kind of had a hope all week long that Jackson Moy was going to play. Felt pretty confident about Tyree Weathersby. Heupel earlier in the week says we anticipate most of the guys being ready to go. Most of the guys on that defensive line being ready to go. VolQuest this morning talking about the war room. Go subscribe to VolQuest. If you're not, like all three of us subscribe. It's $10 a month well spent. But they put out this morning Jackson Moy is 50-50, and they would lean towards him not playing. The sky started falling immediately. I told you guys I get excited earlier in the week. The later we get in the week, the more paranoid I get, the more anxious I get, the more I lose confidence. Jackson Moy lean towards him not playing. Weathersby more likely to go. You're going to have to slide Don Bailey inside. You're going to play him beside Bryson Eason. You're going to lean on Nathan Robinson. Is Jamal Wallace ready to go play against the Georgia Bulldogs, Coach? If Jackson Moy doesn't play, huge concern for me. Huge concern.
It's definitely a huge concern. You were really counting on Jackson Moy to be in there and affecting the game. And I don't know if this makes me feel better or worse. I hate when I have to make these statements like this, but I don't know if this makes me feel better or worse. Georgia's had some problems on their offensive line so far this year against lesser talent. They're starting a true freshman. Great looking prospect in Juan Gaston at that guard position. So does it give you a little solace that it's going to be his first start in Neyland, first time giving it a go in not only in college ball, but right in the greatest football environment in all of college football or any
and
football
also not 100% healthy. Juan Gaston and their right tackle both also listed as questionable. Sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So it makes you feel a little better in that regard, like it's a little more level of a playing field, but it also makes you kind of feel like, oh man, there's this juicy steak on this table that I don't get to take a bite of. Like there's a beautiful baked potato with cheese, bacon, sour cream, chives, everything on it that I do get to eat, but man, I'd like me a bite of that steak too. And I feel like you're leaving a little bit of a juicy steak on the table with that. So yeah, it hurts, but listen, it's football. There's no excuses at the end of the day. You got to line up and play with what you've got. They have issues. We have issues. We got to meet in the middle, bite down, play physical, like Hubs was talking about, and find a way to punch them in the mouth and win this game.
Can I jump in there on that note? Because the whole thing, I mean, I've got it in keys to the game, and we'll get all that stuff. But staying aggressive for 4 quarters, we've seen it time and time again. Stay aggressive for 4, and that's on both sides of the ball. But we're talking defense at the moment. Like we've seen, if you get a couple plays here and there, and kind of let the foot off the gas a little bit. Now, here's the thing. I'm all over him every time. I'm all over Coach Banks. I'm like, stay aggressive, stay aggressive, stay aggressive. What are we doing? I'm flipping out. I'm screaming at the TV. What are we doing? But then I start thinking about it. Do you think we've had a little bit of this depth? I hate to even say a depth issue at defensive line. We didn't know what we were talking about, Bug, in the preseason. We had no idea what we're talking about. We just
fault.
missed it.
It's our fault.
We whiffed it anyway. Does that affect you being able to stay aggressive? Does that wear down these guys quicker, or running these different stunts and twists and things like that? I don't know that it does. That's why I want to get coach's input here and Bug's input here. I don't know if I'm thinking too much into it, but can you run those kind of stunts and blitzes and different things all game long and not wear these guys down, because now they're going to have to take extra reps?
Well,
that's a question for that guy.
Yeah, so the way I look at it is you're jumping from a plane without a backup chute, Val, is the way I like to look at it. You have no choice, right? You have to play physical and aggressive. So you need your guys that you weren't expecting to be that backup chute, right? Like to be in there to give you those valuable reps, because if they can't, then you're not going to be able to get across that finish line anyway. So I guess my answer would be that when Jamal Wallace has those snaps that he gets, when your backups have those moments, they have to be able to get there. They have to be able to bite down and at least hold the line for you. But if all of a sudden you're like coach, I don't want to say coaching scared, but coaching conservative for it, and keeping one of your guns in your pocket, I don't like that either. I think that would get you beat just as quickly. So I certainly would trust Mr. Wallace. I know he hadn't been perfect yet, but I like how fast he is. Jamal's been getting across the line okay. He's been getting a little too deep. He kind of needs to sit down in the gap when he gets ass deep through the line. But you got to trust him. Trust is the name of the game in football. And if you can't trust the guys next to you, you're going to lose anyways, bottom line.
Look, you look at the interior, though. Look at the defense. And I know we joke about saying they don't have depth. How many teams in the country lose their starting defensive tackles, right? You've lost David Hobbs and Jackson Moy. You've lost your 2 starters. Look at the corner position. You've lost your 2 starters at corner. Name a team in the country that is down their 2 starting defensive tackles and their 2 corners, and they're still saying, we're going to go toe-to-toe with Georgia, and we're going to punch them in the mouth, and we expect to win. That is depth. That speaks volumes to what Josh Heupel has done. And you go back to fall camp when Rodney Garner's talking about his defensive line, and he says, I got a lot of confidence in those first 3. Well, those first 3 were Jackson Moy, Bryson Eason, and David Hobbs. And now 2 of those 3 guys are injured. So when you start talking about depth, look at Nathan Robinson, right? Coach talking about guys that they have to step up. You have to rise to the occasion. I think Nathan Robinson is that guy. So if you have all your guys there, now you've all of a sudden got Eason and Moy starting. You've got David Hobbs and Nathan Robinson as your 2 deep. Then Jamal's coming in with the 3s, right? And then you can start working in Ethan Utley, Isaiah Campbell. That's depth. but you're banged up and you've lost 2 of those top 3. I think that is a big problem. And it's like how deep can you go? How many Jackson Moyes can you have on a roster in a day and age where we're talking with Hubs about parity in college football? Well, if I'm not going to play, I'm going to go somewhere else, right? So it's just a fact that we're hurt, we're beat up, we're banged up on the interior. Next man up, Nathan Robinson being back, I think is huge. We need to see him make some plays. Tyree Weathersby being back, you can slide Don Bailey on the inside, and maybe that helps out. But I would be lying if I didn't say I was concerned about Tennessee being able to get pressure with the front 4.
And even Weathersby's still questionable, right? I mean, we don't know.
They said Ballquist said he was likely going to play. Yeah. Okay. Their tone with Weathersby was way more encouraging than their tone with Jackson Boyd.
Okay. Well, that's like, because I got another one in the keys to the game. It's like the defensive line's got to get home. Like, and when I say that, I'm saying pressures aren't good enough. And we've noticed that in the past where Tennessee gets pressure. Tennessee's getting some push, but if you don't get home, don't get sacks like Hubs has brought up, it's just not going to be effective. It's not. Okay, quarterback goes out in pregame or quarterback starts out in practice. What do we all do? They all warm up. We all start at 5 yards, tossing the ball around 10 yards, 15 yards, and then work down the field and get in a rhythm to warm your arm up. Well, what's that going to allow if you can't get home? He's going to throw these little check downs, little swing routes to the running backs, the dreaded flags and stuff across the middle and crossers that we've just allowed to run free. And it's the same thing with Beck. I mean, you guys have already talked about it, so we won't run down this rabbit hole, but you can't let that guy get comfortable. And he can move well enough. He's quick. He's athletic. He can move well enough. Like, you got to get home. He can move around the pocket and still hit these little short routes. And if he gets warm, if you let him get comfortable in the first half, that's going to be a long second half. I don't want to get in that scenario. I want to get home early. I want to be aggressive. I want to stay aggressive.
Yeah, I think you definitely got to knock Gunner off his axis, if you will. He is a young quarterback in this system. He's got some grit when he tucks the ball. Like if you get him one-on-one with a safety, he'll run you over. And I agree with you, Fal. You've got to get home. You've got to get him corralled to where he can't escape and hurt you with his legs as well. It goes further than that. But you know what? When quarterbacks get happy feet and they escape too, it also opens things up to fumbles and being able to poke the ball out. We saw Nate Robinson do that recently. I think turnovers could be a huge part of this game if Tennessee could force them. Certainly, we know on our end, Joey needs to go take care of the ball, and I think Heupel's offense has shown it can help him with that and develop him in that way. You want him to keep that up against a feisty Georgia defense. But, I think you need to create confusion, turnovers, and you're right, you do that with getting home and with pressure. It'll be interesting to see how Banks does that, and you can give the D linemen a little help too. I mean, you've got really, really good linebackers that can come off the edge, who can come double A gap blitzes, things like that. I mean, you send T-Lander and Spillman firing double A gap blitz, you're probably going to get home against
anything to get his eyes to come down. Right? We got to get his eyes to come down.
Yep, exactly. So, so Christopher, I agree with you. He's been around that system, but it's different when it's your first year starting in college football altogether. And I realize he had the championship game. Limited time is also a little bit different than having the keys to the car handed off to you. It's just different. You see much more. It's not an isolated situation where it's one game, and where he might be, acclimated enough to the Georgia offense. Is he acclimated enough against, a new game plan that Tim Banks puts out, that Tim Banks, when he gets aggressive, has some really, really awesome fun blitz packages that can get home. The Clemson game a couple of years ago comes to mind. He dialed up some really, really creative, colorful blitzes like that. And I like your comment, but what I'm trying to say is I want him to get to confuse him, because he still hasn't seen it all from a competition level, not from a my own system.
And you're hoping to disrupt that communication a little bit, right? Because we're at home, it's going to be so loud. It's not so much that he don't know what to do. It's like, can he figure it out quick enough and then translate that to his teammates and guys around him, all within 15, 20 seconds with Nealon actually. And I mean, we all talk about Nealon effect, and it sounds cliche and all that stuff. It has to happen. You have to have it. You got to take away communication. Every little bit of disruption is gonna count.
I think the Nealon effect is real. Like, I think it is real. Like, it's like, come on, you've lost one game in 3 years in Neyland Stadium, and it's time to check that box and take care of Georgia. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Then we're going to put Coach Jay on blast. Most of you guys around here know Coach Jay had an interview with a D1 program, and I was asking him what's the next phase, and he's like, well, Boogie, I got to go in and I got to watch a drive. I got to watch tape of a drive, and I've got to live react what changes I would make on the fly. So we're going to put Coach Jay on the spot, and we're going to ask what changes he would make to shut down this Georgia defense. We had man, I hate that we had the conversation off air. We wrapped up the show with Kyler and Reed, and then Coach Jay starts spitballing, and we have a great conversation off air about Tim Banks, what he does against this Georgia offense, and what it really means. We're going to talk about some of that here in just a second. Matthew Watson for 2, going to kick the fleas off the dogs. Shout out, Matthew. We appreciate you. Tyler Maxwell's been a member for 12 months. If you're not a member, they say in the chat that you're a Florida fan. I don't say that. They say that. Fix it. Hit the join button. It's a buck. Got my orange on at work, like Slay says. GBDO. It's all I know. Riding up with a buddy and his wife tomorrow, their first game ever, and it's the memories. Shout out, Tyler. We appreciate you. Tennessee Tonto for 10. YouTube took my money for my previous super chat. Here it is again. By the Tonto, it came through. We read it. So I don't know what happened. It came through, and we read it on air. Coach Jay, get the sports animal app so you can listen to the game. They do a wonderful job. I don't know what happened on Tonto's end, but we did get that, and we did read it. But we do appreciate you and your support. Coach, let's go back. Let's talk about what we talked about off air, because we were talking about Tim Banks going soft, sitting back in a zone. Reed said, I understand people saying that, but the big thing is Tennessee wasn't getting home. Tim Banks dialed up some pressure, zone blitzes, if you will, but they didn't get home. And so it's not that he was necessarily conservative. It's just that Georgia did a great job protecting, so we were unable to get to the quarterback. You and I talking off air, breaking down what a zone blitz does. Well, if you're bringing guys but still playing a zone, now all of a sudden your linebackers got a little bit more ground to cover. Kind of touch on that, some things you wish you would have said in that stream, but we were kind of on the fly and spitballing and going all over the place. Just kind of touch on that from last year against Georgia. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. By the way, Coach was like scrambling, trying to get his game notes out from a year ago while Reed Bacon was
yeah, I was. I had my notes in there. But what I was talking about, Boogie, was shrinking and expanding the zone based on not only the quarterback's actions, but your action of your blitzer. There's been several times where you see either Arian or T-Lander or Spillman sit back as the solo middle linebacker, and one of them showing blitz on the edge. That outside backer can either blitz, he can drop back, and a safety or a cornerback can come, some kind of different show and go switch between them. But what happens when you do that is that solo middle linebacker in the middle of the field zone expands, right? Because all of a sudden you don't have two linebackers to wall off the middle of the field and to settle and guard that middle curl, right? Or that middle slant. And so your zone expands, right? So you have to match play that and expand with it and settle deeper. And this team has been guilty, as mentioned, of not settling back deep enough when their zone has shrunk, right? So one thing I would make sure they're doing is when you deal with a shrinking or expanding zone because of a blitz, you need to settle deeper off the beginning of that, right? It will mean everything to you. Yes, it makes you susceptible to the drag, but there's also a good guard against that when you've got really good star linebacker play, right? Star safety play. You can deal with that because they can close on that, right? If they run something like a tunnel screen that can get you in trouble. And guess what? Georgia will be running tunnel screens with Zachariah Branch. It's why I asked Kaner the other day twice, I think, Boogie, if he was going to shadow him. And gosh, I was just screaming in my car when he said, no, Tim Banks has never done that. I was like,
came back
on, McCoy in Alabama.
Were you in the
Yeah,
chat when he
yeah.
came back and corrected that? He was like, I was
Yeah,
wrong. They did do that. So he
I was,
corrected it.
I
He
was,
corrected
I
that.
was, but
They actually brought that up on VolQuest. Good
he
point, Chris.
hasn't done it much. I do agree with that. But guess what? The standard, what we've been doing against Georgia hasn't necessarily been working, right? So it's time to take a look at that and think of what I would change. That is one of them. But you really have to deal with those expanding zones, and you have to maintain zone integrity as well. You must stay in with your assigned area, uh, and when you're in that area, if someone crosses your face too, you have to be able to change as that situation dictates with the quarterback's eyes and hips. I think Hubs was right on cue. I think the tight end linebackers are going to be a huge key to this. And as a D coordinator, it's 100% what would be circled on my things. And it's not just because I'm a linebacker coach. I think you need to deal with that. I mean, yeah, you need to stop the run, like Kyler said. Yeah, they're going to be taking those one shots downfield to loosen you up a little bit. But your linebackers are going to be thinking downhill a lot because Georgia's ran the ball really well. You have to make sure they maintain their zone integrity when that zone expands or shrinks, vice versa.
Yep. I don't know how much time we got to get in on that, but I'd like to ask two questions if we can. Like it's
I
just
was like, I
interesting
got a
to me. I
team
think
meeting in about 40 minutes, but other than that, I'm good.
yeah. So two things. Well, one, we talk about Brooks Austin breaking down some stuff sometimes. He's a known Georgia fan, right? So he actually brought up he thinks that Tennessee should run more zones to confuse Gunner versus being in man, where it's just like, can my guy beat your guy, and kind of simplifies it for Gunner. That's one part, and then the second part is, if we get into a zone, does that cause you to be a little bit flat-footed, especially at linebacker? Do you kind of sit and wait and be a little flat-footed and cause you to like just be not sluggish, but just a slight, delay? You're not just on it. And do those two things, either one of those things, make any sense?
They can be.
And then throw this in there too. Why are you, as a defensive guy, are you a zone blitz guy or a man blitz guy? Because when you got corners like Ty Redmond and Colton Hood, why not go more man blitz? And you can't do it every time. I get it.
You mix it up, but there's a reason why you see more zone blitz when we play Georgia. And the reason is, if you look at what they do, they throw the flats more than any other pass. And man blitzes against flats can get you beat in a hurry, and zone blitzes do a much better job of dealing with that. So I think that has a lot.
This is the Hammer Coach Jason session.
Well, like
No,
the man,
dude, I'm here.
it makes it simplified, though, right? Like man makes it too simple for a quarterback's read if he has time to make that deep read or whatever. But if you're in man, I mean, he just knows, he can look and see, did my man beat your man? Like it's too simple.
Well, look at Boogie. You know, when you play NCAA football, I know it's a video game, but if they're in man, your drag or your flat's always going to be
always. Yeah, sure.
It just is. That's just how it works. Like it's just a thing. There's no other way to put it. But
I like what you said too.
Can't
mix it up.
Sprinkle it in, man. Give it a little salt bay.
Mix it up.
Give it a little salt bay. I'm with you.
Go back to Val's question. I completely derailed it.
What was it again? Sorry, I got distracted.
Sorry, Val.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So zones, like, should we run more zone versus man because it'll to cause confusion and give Gunner more to think about, more to look at? And then does being in zone, does that cause us to be too flat-footed, especially like in linebacker across the middle, like, or at star? Like, are you setting? I mean, yeah, you're moving into your zone, but like versus taking that first step forward as a linebacker versus just settling into the zone and being flat-footed and give that too much of a delay, let the play develop too much there.
I like my linebackers to keep active feet when they're settling in the zone. It's something I'd like to see a little bit more out of our linebackers. And what I mean by active feet is usually a quarterback is setting his hips and flowing his hips as he moves through the read. You can keep your feet and moving and your body flowing within a yard of itself with active feet. You're looking, you're chopping, you're bouncing, you have an active settle so that you're moving and you're not caught flat-footed, which is what I think you're talking about there.
Right. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's move this thing forward. We got to catch up with some super chats real quick. Scott Bennett for 5 says, Dorothy, GBO, hate working for the man. Missed the whole thing. Well, the good news for you, Scott, the stream will stay up. You can go back and rewatch it when you are free. Jordan Heron drops an Orange Boy. That's a 20 spot. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Oh, man, the pressure has now shifted from just Coach J to also Foul Ming. New deal, $50 Coach J parlay hits. 50% goes to Super Chats. $50 Foul Ming parlay hits. 10 gifted memberships every single Saturday. We're going to go right into the gambling segment here in just a second. Ron the Don for 5. We can do this. It's our time, our year. Why not us this time? Let's go, GBO. We can't let our past predict our future. Play to dominate and win. Let's go. I should have read that in Ron the Don's voice. Let's go, Ron. Fired up on a Friday morning. Tennessee Tonto for 50.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Tonto says, sorry for the confusion, Vol family. Inconvenience fee. Tonto, I don't think this one came through either. Maybe you should resend it. We'll get things straightened out. Hey, Tonto, we appreciate you, brother. You didn't have to drop that extra 50, but we do appreciate a good tip in the tip jar. Somebody in the chat said, have you boys seen Ron Slay's latest rant? I have not, so let's take a listen.
I feel some type of way, like it's some nervousness, anxiety in the air in Athens, between the hedges. Maybe it's just between the hedges and it don't come out. I'm just saying this ain't the normal Georgia feeling I get in this week. The last time I got this feeling was a Heisman hopeful, Bryce Young, coming up on Rocky Top. Handled them, got them out the way, stormed the field, cigar smoke poured up out of Neyland. It was all into the water. We had goalposts we couldn't find, all kind of weird stuff going on.
Man, they put them in the Tennessee River.
Man, President Boyd was beating on the window, said, pay the fine, pay the fine. We was like, okay, cool.
Do you guys agree with that? I don't know. I don't know why. It does feel eerily similar. And I've asked Kaner this. I was going to ask Cubs this, but then didn't. It's like, if you told me that QB1 was going to hit the portal and that our 2 starting corners were going to be hurt and 2 defensive tackles were going to be out, there's no way I have confidence going into this game, but our fan base has confidence. It feels eerily similar, does it not?
Yeah, absolutely. I try not to get too wound up because I'm known for putting my orange glasses on. Like I get juiced up. I'm a homer, right? But you tell me that Georgia's gettable. You tell me it's going to be a 50-50. We're going to swing it out to the very end, and we got an absolute dog back there at quarterback this year. I'm not saying that dude is just something. He's got that something. That dude's got a chip. That dude wants to prove something. I just want, if I'm going down swinging, I want that dude swinging. And it's just got me juiced up this week. I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
This is a good feeling. I'm saying, Babsy, Kirby, you better get your little speeches ready for halftime. You better get them little speeches ready for halftime because I don't think y'all as confident.
I can go through this roster and tell you the talent that this Georgia football team. You just don't know. I am not saying that. But listen, I need you to just hold your little, hold your panties right there.
I'm holding.
No.
I'll put them in my mouth and bite them. They used to have depth in front of them where they would never get on the field.
Nobody has depth anymore, Slay.
Aha! So what I said was,
guess what? Guess who doesn't have depth?
All I know is go Vols, because that's all I know. Go Vols.
I love it.
That guy is it's just like, you talk about orange tinted glasses, Val. That's who he is. Like every week he thinks we're going to win. And I love that. Let's jump into the gambling segment. We don't condone gambling around here, but if we did, these would be the picks that we made. Look, we're 2 weeks into this thing. And as of right now, Foul Ming is still up 1. Coach J's picks last week. He took Texas minus 37. They won 38-7 over San Jose State. That's a L for Coach J.
Fumbled on the 4-yard line.
Both Coach J and Foul Ming took USF plus 18. That's a dub for both. Obviously, 18-16 win over Florida. Coach J took USC minus 29. They won 59-20 over Georgia Southern. That's a dub. Coach J goes 2-1. for the week. Foul Ming took Ole Miss minus 8.5. They won 30-23 over Kentucky. That's a close one, but it's an L for Foul Ming. He also took Oklahoma minus 5.5. They won 24-13 over Michigan. That's a dub for Foul Ming. Coach Jay on the season, 4-2. Foul Ming on the season is 5-1, I believe. Is that accurate? I think so. Yeah. Foul Ming's 5-1. Coach is 4-2. Foul Ming is +1 through 2 weeks. So, Coach, give us your 3 picks for this week.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off with SMU minus 28, and that's gonna be like my overall best pick of the week. They're playing the Missouri State team that I think got beat like 74-10 or 13 or something like that against the Trojans. It is a sandwich game. For those of you screaming about it, it is between Baylor and Texas Christian for SMU. It's just not going to matter. Missouri State's really bad. They're going to catch SMU in a mood. And even if this thing is vanilla as vanilla can be, I still see this being a 40, 45-point game. So give me SMU minus 28. And we're going to stay on them, baby. Every year there's a team that covers like 10 weeks, 11 weeks. I'm saying South Florida right now is going to cover that 18 again against Miami. I realize it's a step up, but I think they're going to get it done. And then finally, I got Texas Tech minus 23.5 versus Oregon State. Oregon State just doesn't have it this year. They're definitely down. And as a lot of you know, Texas Tech spending that money, baby. They got a lot of talent. They're putting a ton of points in the game, and that one will be down there at Tech. So SMU minus 28, South Florida plus 18, and Tech minus 23.5.
All right, I got them down here. Foul Ming, you're the leader. You're the champ. What do you got this week?
Coach taking some of these points here. All this kind of is cushion. Like I'm in here tight. This is going to be tight. This is, so I'm taking Texas A&M plus 6.5 at Notre Dame. Now it's at Notre Dame, but you give me an SEC team and points, I'm taking it. It's just the way I think Marcel Reed might be a touch underrated or not talked about enough. He's accounted for 8 touchdowns, 7 in the air, 1 on the ground, 500 yards passing, and 105 yards rushing on the season so far. So I'm taking Texas A&M plus 6.5 there. Vanderbilt. I'm taking Vandy over South Carolina at South Carolina. Vandy plus 3.5. Vandy plus 3.5. I think Vandy's just clicking better right now. South Carolina always plays better late in the season versus early, and Pavia seems to thrive in these top games, these big moments. He wants the stage. He wants to show everybody what's going on, and we're going to find out. I've never done this. I've never took Vandy on anything. I'm giving them a shot. I'm giving them a chance here. I'm taking Vandy plus 3.5. Then I'm taking LSU minus 7.5 versus a dumpster fire at Florida. I just don't. I think LSU's trying to make a point. They've actually won a season opener. They got a veteran-led team with Nuss behind the center. So I'm taking Florida minus 7.5. I just don't. I don't think the Swamp can save them. I don't think the Swamp can save them in this one. Florida's falling apart. I don't see that bounce back. If you're going to come roaring back, it's not going to be against this LSU team. It's just too much.
Wait, we have to clarify miscues here. You said you're taking Florida. You're taking LSU minus 7.5. LSU minus.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
All right. Well, just to clarify, because
giving up a score.
Coach got misquoted a couple of weeks ago, or a couple like last year sometime, and somebody placed a huge bet and lost.
I'm taking LSU. So if you can find LSU plus 7.5, hammer that. But it's going to be minus 7.5.
All right, those are the picks for this week. We got to get out the door here, but we're going to do it with predictions first. Wednesday was different. We had Kyler and Reed on. I did spoil my prediction over on Locked On Vols, but we'll let Coach kick this thing off. What do you see coming up on Saturday afternoon?
I see a really, really tough physical game. I think Hubs nailed it on the head. I think you're going to see that big personnel. I think you're going to see the play action a lot off of it. I think that it's not going to be as easy to hit that deep ball, and I know we haven't done it much, but I think we get one. I think we just get one deep ball, and I think it's going to be enough to loosen things up enough early. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tumultuous, but I do think our defensive line can get home. I think Juan Gaston gets rattled on the inside, and I think our corners hold up just enough. I think Georgia's going to get theirs a little, but I got Tennessee winning a tight one. I got a little more higher scoring than some people have it. I got it 28-24. Tennessee pulls off a last-second touchdown when they're down 21-24, and it's pandemonium in Knoxville.
Did you watch Locked On Vols this morning? I'm just
No.
curious.
You know I'm traveling, man. I didn't have time to do anything.
My score prediction on Locked On Vols 27-24.
Oh wow! Yeah, no, I hadn't had a chance.
Wait. Falme got the same pick here? No.
27.
Oh wow!
It's destiny. It's meant to be.
I wrote that at midnight last night. I've not seen anything. I don't know what everybody else's predictions were.
Here is kind of where I went through it, and it's kind of been the course of the week. It's like Hub said, every game you got to control the line of scrimmage. Every game you got to run the football, and it's like there's so many things in this game that Tennessee has to do, but I think they finally get the monkey off their back by hitting explosive plays in the passing game. I don't think that it's 5 or 6 or 7, but I think it's enough. And I think they finally find that deep shot. And I'm watching Braylon Staley in the slot, and it goes back to the Film Network guy, talking about Georgia, and he has confidence in their corners coming up and playing press man. He doesn't have confidence in their nickel back. And I think Braylon Staley, and I know what the Georgia fans are going to say. We're going to play our safety over the top, blah, blah, blah. You're going to find a way to get Braylon Staley open, and Joey Aguilar is going to hit him, and we're going to find that deep shot, and that's going to be the difference in this game. Foul, give us your keys to the game. We already know your score. Everybody's 27-24. Matt Begley is 27-24. Foul, what do you got? What do you see in this game? And then we already know that score.
Okay, keys to the game. We've talked about a few of them. Stay aggressive. I want to stay aggressive on both sides of the ball for 4 quarters. We got to bring it. We can't sit back and just wait for things to come to us, especially on defense. We want to be early and often trying to get pressures there. Come away from the red zone with 7, not 3, right? Especially early. We can't have great drives or overcome make great plays and overcome whatever comes all the way down the field, drive down, and then just come up with 3 time and time again. Heupel's already brought it up this season. It happened to us a couple times against ETSU. We can't have that in this game. And I want Joey to continue to take what the defense gives him. Just because it's a bigger stage, just because it's a loud environment, all eyes on you, just continue to stay calm, and I think you will. Stay calm, take what they give you. They can't cover everything on every play. It's just a matter of, can you stay calm? Can you find it? Try to stay in front of the stick. Stay in 3rd and manageable. We can't have silly penalties put us in 3rd and 15s. That's plagued. All these things are very cliche football terms, football things that you're trying to will always help, right? But these are things that have plagued Tennessee in these Georgia matchups. We get behind the sticks, and then next thing you know, Georgia's sitting in the house and you're in your face. I already talked about this. D-line's got to get home. Pressures aren't good enough. And then can the linebackers – I'm going to say it until we do it. Can the linebackers, with the help of some star maybe, cover that center field? Can we stop these crossers that have plagued us for the last year? Like we still haven't done it. And if anybody's going to take advantage of it, it's this offense. It's what they like to do. They want these short routes. They want these checkdowns. They want to involve tight ends, which luckily for us, we haven't seen a lot of the tight ends from Georgia so far this year. But we got to get that done. We got to cover the middle field. But those are just some things that I think have plagued us so far, and we got to overcome it.
We got a $2 super chat from Tennessee Tonto. Said streaks are made to be broken. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. I love what JD Piquel. Go out and take it. Just go out and freaking take it, man. There's nobody that can stop you but yourself. Go out and take this game from Georgia. Corey Smith gifted 5 Talkin VAWLS membership. Shout out, Corey. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in on this Friday morning show. Shout out to Brent Hubs for coming on and hanging out with us. Brent Hubs over at VolQuest.com. Go check out what VolQuest has going on. Go check out gradeagrounds.com. Shout out to Grade A Grounds for supplying us, keeping us with the caffeine and with the energy to bring this morning show on Monday mornings, Friday mornings. You can go to gradeagrounds.com. Promo code VAWLS. You're going to get 20% off of your first purchase. They're going to give us a kickback. Guess who's going to use that promo code? I'm first going to text Billy and say, hey, bro, I need more blueberry. If he says no, I'm going to go to gradeagrounds.com. I'm going to use the promo code VAWLS. I'm going to buy my own damn blueberry because that's how good it is. You want merchandise? Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You like what we do? Hit the join button down below and become a member. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. For Coach Jay, for Foul Ming, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
That we call home and it's night and I'm alone and